Hello and welcome to the Undead Gaming News Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host, Zombie, and joining me is my co-host, Litchi.
Hello.
Our first story comes from Sony, who have acquired Nixxes Software. They've been around for 20 years doing PC ports. The most notable are, of course, the Tomb Raider Trilogy, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and last year's Avengers.
Okay, so I guess I presume that we should expect to see some more PlayStation exclusives coming to PC?
That's the main assumption, from what I've gathered, yes. Is there any particular exclusives that you would like to see ported to PC?
I don't know. I could play God of War on my PC. That'd be nice.
That would be a good one, yeah. I think Ghost of Tsushima would be a good one to put on there as well.
Yes.
They've also possibly acquired Bluepoint Games, as the Japanese Twitter account posted a image that had Bluepoint Games logo on it and said welcome to the family, although it was quickly deleted. So it's possible that they're going to be announcing those soon as well. Bluepoint Games, of course, known for remasters such as the Demon's Souls as their most recent remaster.
I can't think of a single remaster I'd want to see. Well, obviously on the original the story, they were supposed to be announcing that they have got the developer of Returnal, Housemarque, but obviously in a screw-up, they actually announced that they were getting the Demon's Souls remastered developer.
Yes.
Are there any remasters you would like to see done?
Well, the only remaster I can think of that would be good, although it's not necessarily exclusive to Sony, would be a Silent Hill remaster, because I think that franchise deserves a good remaster for the modern graphics.
Yes. Get a new generation of horror fans into Silent Hill.
Exactly, whilst also bringing something new for all the fans of the franchise already. Also, Ghost of Tsushima is in the news due to a DLC that they are going to be releasing at some point this year. I think in August. Ikishima DLC. They will be making a Ikishima island for you to explore, and it will be included in the director's cut that's going to be released later this year as well.
Well, they're expected to discuss this at the State of Play in July. Do you have the exact date for that?
I don't. But then again, State of Play is never really very well communicated in terms of when it's going to be on. Tend to find out about them a few days before it happens, so.
So basically, stay tuned and we'll let you know if they release any more information.
Exactly. Insomniac Games is also in the news, as there's 5 new job openings for a multiplayer project at Insomniac Games. So whether that will be a full multiplayer game or a multiplayer mode on a game, we don't know yet. But it'll be interesting to see what they're cooking up.
But if you are that way inclined, the jobs they're looking for are a creative director, a systems designer, a story lead, an art director, and a visual effects artist.
They've also released a new patch for Spiderman Miles Morales, which improves the game's ray tracing effects, the overall stability and performance of the game, and they've also fixed an issue with motion blur on certain pedestrians.
I cannot attest to, obviously, personally experiencing these issues, since I have still yet to play this game, despite it receiving overall praise. But have you noticed any of these issues within the game? How do you feel about the new patch notes?
Well, personally, I already thought the game looked very good in terms of the ray tracing and the graphics. So I've not actually seen the new update just yet. So it will be interesting to see just how it's changed. And I quite enjoyed the game overall. Although it's a little bit shorter than I was hoping for, but obviously that's to be expected with it not being a full release like the Spider-Man game in 2018. It's still a very good addition nonetheless.
Do you know that if they would be doing like a DLC for the Miles Morales, or...
I don't think they're going to be doing DLC for Miles Morales. I think Miles Morales was more of just a bridge game between the Spider-Man that we got in 2018 and the next project, because I think it was initially going to be a DLC for the other Spider-Man game, but it was then made into a standalone itself.
Yeah, speaking of which, on the standalone, the Ghost of Tsushima DLC we mentioned is also speculated to be also released as a standalone.
And if you're looking for free games, the Epic Game Store have announced their next set of games, which include Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead, and Ironcast. And you have July 8th to July 15th to collect those.
Currently, what's on, and ending on, obviously, the July 8th, what are they replacing?
The Spectrum Retreat will be replaced.
That's it.
Epic also claimed that in January, the Epic Game Store attracted over 160 million PC users since its launch in December of 2018. The company has been giving away free titles on a weekly basis since the marketplace launched, including 103 games in 2020, collectively worth $2,407 based on the US prices. Epic said users claimed over 749 million free titles last year. Innersloth said that this week, 15 million copies of Among Us were claimed when the game was available for free on the Epic Store, between the 27th of May and the 3rd of June. If you are a PlayStation Plus member, then we have some new games coming up for free, of course, to claim, which includes the Call of Duty Black Ops 4,
WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Both of these titles are for PlayStation 4.
and then for the PlayStation 5 you can claim A Plague Tale Innocence. However, in-game trailer news, Dying Light 2 has had a new trailer, a gameplay trailer, which featured a new stealth-based section where we had to sneak through an area with zombies that were crouching over, and you couldn't get too close or else they would notice you, so I would assume they're blind.
Well, it states that they're asleep, but then there are some that are just standing there and unexplainably don't notice the player.
Which is why I would assume they are blind.
Yes. And I notice, rather than, as with the original Dying Light, you had the volatiles that were, they were weak to sunlight. It would appear that strain of the virus appears to have affected some of the more lesser enemies, as they appear to also burn in the sunlight.
Yeah, I did also notice that it doesn't seem that the character you're going to be playing as is necessarily immune to the virus this time, and it seems more like you need your daily fix to keep it staying human. Kind of like you did in Dead Rising.
Or the first Dying Light.
What did you do in the first Dying Light?
In the first Dying Light, you are bitten at the beginning of the game, and throughout the story, you have to get antizin to inject yourself.
That was it, yeah. Dying Light story wasn't exactly its strongest component, so...
Whereas, based on the trailer for Dying Light 2, I don't know that the character is not immune. I don't completely... It's not stated, obviously, that they are immune. But your companion, for whatever reason, chooses to inject you with the virus. And so I presume that is in some way to build up some kind of immunity to the virus. I don't think it's like a natural thing like they had in previous titles with, like, Dead Island. But I do think possibly your character may have to build some kind of immunity to it, because for some reason to join their group you have to be injected with the virus and then go into the sunlight to not be turned.
Yeah, the going into the sunlight bit does seem a bit strange, so it'll be interesting to see how exactly that works. Because the character was about to turn, so he had to run into the sunlight to be fine, which of course then killed the zombies that were chasing him. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
Also, with Dying Light 2, fans of those huge games may like the new. What I suspect is possibly the new Goon. Looks like he's been hitting the gym pretty hard.
Quite jacked, yes.
Yes.
Also, within the Dying Light 2 trailer, during the whole stealth section, if implemented correctly, I do think it could pose quite tense moments, although the AI does seem like it needs a bit of work still, considering the player was sprinting for a couple of seconds before hiding, and the AI of the zombies didn't seem to notice.
Yeah. There also, in the original, were there a zombie type that were kind of retched, acidic vomit on you? Because we see a glimpse of a retcher type enemy as he sneaks by.
I can't remember if there was one in this story, but I think there was one that you could use in the multiplayer version, even when you could play as a zombie. I think there was one that had an ability that you could spit vomit and stuff at.
Yeah. That was kind of an evolved volatile. But yeah, I don't think none of the actual zombies had the ability to fire acid at you. Whereas, obviously, in their previous title, Dead Island, they did have ones that could spit acid at you. Though I found the design of the new Retcher type zombie looks to be similar to, if you have ever played the original Red Dead Redemption, had a DLC involving zombies.
The Undead Nightmare DLC, yes.
Yes. One of its types looks very similar to this, except for instead of the orange kind of bile dripping from the zombie, it was green, so it fired green acid at you. Which is why I described this as a Retcher type, because that's what those were called. But obviously we'll find out what they're actually called in the new game.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see what the new zombies will be, and how they all play into it. Another trailer that was released, of course, was Space Punks, which appears to be some kind of top-down arcadey shooter.
Yes, it personally, while watching the trailer, I expected to see that at the end it would have been Gearbox Software, who obviously are famous for the Borderlands series. It was very reminiscent of Borderlands. It was like Borderlands meets Diablo. It's a dungeon. It's like a dungeon crawler, but it has the same kind of humour and the art style as the Borderlands games. So I was expecting it to have some relation to that, but no, it is not. It is, in fact, made by
Jagex and Flying Wild Hog.
Yes.
I did have the same thought while watching it, to be honest. Although Diablo's not really my kind of game. I'm not really into dungeon crawlers, but of course, if you're interested in that kind of thing, Space Punks will be out at some point. They didn't actually release a release date, but you can keep an eye on that, and we'll update you as we go.
What's next?
Sony have filed for a trademark.
Okay.
Or PSX is the trademark they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of information around it, because of course PSX used to be the abbreviation for the PlayStation experience, but it's also been used as a placeholder name for the original PlayStation as well. However, they've not been doing the PlayStation experience for a couple of years, because they started doing the State of Plays. So we're not really sure what their goal is with the PSX yet.
But the trademark is in arranging, organising and conducting exhibitions. So
yes. So which is why it's most likely going to be to do with the PlayStation experience conferences and stuff.
Furthermore, Dead by Daylight are currently celebrating their 5th anniversary. So from the 1st of July to the 15th of July, players will be given a daily gift of blood points, iridescent shards, and also adds more items into the game to allow players to earn more blood points. So basically you can progress a lot quicker in the game at the moment if you want to play now. There's also the ability to gain new cosmetics for this. There's the crown, which personally I think looks more like a halo, but they want to call it a crown. There's the crown you can gain from the trials, and all you have to do as a survivor, all you've got to do is you find the crown, and you've got to escape with it, and now you have that crown for that character. And whereas for a killer, you just find the crown, and all you've got to do is finish the match. You now have this cosmetic. This is only available for their original killers, so it won't be available for... You can't get the crown for characters like Michael Myers or Freddy, because obviously those are licensed killers. If enough people get the crowns, they will also give the community a cosmetic for the character David King and the character The Wraith.
Some of the items included in the Dead by Daylight anniversary, of course, is the anniversary cake, which you can use as an offering. That gives you 105% blood points, is it?
Yeah, 105. Up 1% from the previous anniversary, from 104.
Yes. And of course, those cakes stack, so if other players put one down as well, it will increase it obviously a lot more.
So you can obviously earn for a total of 525% increase to your blood point generation.
Exactly. So you can definitely level up quite quick if everyone's putting them down.
Also, along with the extra items and cosmetics, there are also a sale on the cosmetics from the shop, and you get the perks from the Shrine of Secrets a lot cheaper now. I'm sure it normally costs. Does it normally cost like 200? Is it 2,000? It normally costs or something.
I don't know.
It's you get 500 chads off, so it's 25% cheaper basically. That's starting from day one, but they've not released. They're keeping the cards very close to their chest as to what they're giving for the 15 days. But for the first day, you'll get like the first 7 days they're giving away 9,000 iridescent shards and 500,000 blood points. For the daily rotation of perks on the Shrine of Secrets, obviously you could potentially obviously buy all of the stuff on there every single day to be able to get a total of 28 perks at the reduced price. But currently, they're not saying what they're giving out for like the second week, so we'll possibly update you on that next time.
Yes, we can update you when we have more information. However, it's good to get on there every day and claim your rewards. So what games have you been playing lately?
Well, lately, obviously, there's Dead by Daylight to get rewards. Take advantage of, obviously, the event. I've also been playing... I've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently. I got back into that. And I believe there was an event for that last week or something for the community to do like the new challenges they've added. In like they have 3 challenges. Like one is the way of the way of the bear, the raven, and the wolf. The bear being obviously is just focused purely on your combat skills. The way of the raven being your stealth challenges. So it's just like assassinate these targets or steal these things without being detected, so on and so forth. Whereas, obviously, the Way of the Wolf one is focused more on your archery skills. And they're not easy. They are very difficult. After like the first 3 challenges you get to like introduce you to it, they're doable pretty easily, but the enemies are a lot. Well, they're a lot higher level than me anyway. I don't know if you can get to a point where you're actually on par with them, and then it's easier, or it just scales. Like, I think the River Raids expansion might have, appears to scale, because every time I level up, that level goes up. So then, that appears to scale with me. Whereas the Challengers one, they're always in the red, so they're always so high above me that they're basically hard mode.
Yeah.
There's also, for Valhalla, there is also, obviously, the second DLC should be releasing shortly, which takes place to France. The Siege of Paris DLC. What about you?
That, of course, is based on the real Siege of Paris that the Vikings did.
Oh, yeah.
Lately, I've been playing a lot of Days Gone. I've also, of course, recently finished Spiderman Miles Morales. And we played a bit of Dead by Daylight. Another thing that's worth noting about Dead by Daylight is, of course, the Rift. And making sure you finish that before it expires.
Oh, yeah, there's 11 days left, I think, on that now? So that ends...
I think so, yeah. The end of the Rift will be the 13th this month. So it's worth getting all the challenges done and finishing that up before it expires.
Yes.
Also played a little bit of Watch Dogs Legion online. Not really much to it at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah. It's not exactly geared for... Unless you have, a full group of 4 people?
Yeah.
I don't know. Unless it actually scales, and then it gets harder as there's more people, but doing the one-person stuff on your own can be annoying, because the first one I did, as a fresh level 1, the task it gives me is to, I think, hack a police station. So I go there, I do the hack without having to enter the police station. I just use these, get my spider bot there. Take out a bunch of all the guards that are actually there by just running them over with their own cars. Then I send my spider bot in to do the hack, rather than having to actually maneuver around myself. The problem with this was, as soon as I start the hack, it spawned an army on top of me. And because it's more of a stealth game than a straight up shooter, your character is very squishy. So even the agents who are geared more to combat, still pretty squishy. So you can take a few of them down with you, but eventually you are going down. I even attempted using one of the flying drones, the cargo drones, over the top of the thing, which worked for a bit. Because the AI's aim apparently when shooting at flying targets is shooting at a stormtrooper, and then just suddenly everything hits. So that didn't go great, but then obviously we decided to do the missions that are marked as 2 players. There are 2 of us. But
Yep.
It was painful to get through. And there appears to be only one way to play through the co-op missions, in that you have to play them all in order. There doesn't appear to be a way to just pick the co-op mission. You have to start from the beginning. So after slogging through the first one, we was on the second one, and I can't remember, why did we end up giving up on the second one?
Well, it was a lot of trial and error to get to nearing the end of the mission, due to a lot of drones being sent to you when you're on a rooftop, and then eventually we was able to escape in the cars to go to the end of the mission, and then as we was driving down the road, a drone decided to blow up the car I was in. And of course I can't shoot the drone when I'm driving, because it's above me. And you also have to make sure that you're within range of each other so that the cars don't blow up as well. And you've also got police cars that are trying to run you off the road. I think we was just in too much of a I'm too annoyed with this state of mind when we got to that point already, so it was just like, we'll just stop this now. And then of course we tried the city event afterwards that popped up, and we only just managed to make it through that.
Which, I will note, specifies it's for 3 people.
True, it is for 3 people, we did it as 2.
Yeah, but the two player missions are just a pain in the backside.
Yes, I do think they need to work on the level scaling. There is also not a whole lot in the multiplayer at the minute. It is just, from what I can tell, you've got the city events that happen every now and again, you've got the co-op missions, and then there's the solo stuff.
There is also, there is stuff that I designed for, I believe, I can't remember if it's a party of 3 or party of 4, which works similar to how, I believe they will work similar to how, like, a raid would work in an MMO. They're stupidly hard. It requires good teamwork to get through. Similar, but that was obviously one of the weaker points when they made the company, when Ubisoft obviously made The Division, was the actual, like, the missions weren't really balanced for what you have. Like, if you wanted to, like, when The Division originally came out, you could play through the whole thing by yourself. Later down the line, they made it so basically, if you want to do that, it's going to be stupidly hard. Because yes, obviously, it's made to play with other people, but not everyone likes doing that.
And not everyone has someone to play with either.
No. So it would be nice if obviously it just scaled to, like, how many people are actually there.
Yeah.
Rather than here's a thing that you should really have, like, at least 2 people for. Now do it.
It's like with Zombie Army Trilogy, of course, something we played recently. In the options menu before you actually start playing, you're able to select how many players you want the zombie spawns for, so you can have it from 1 to 4 players.
And obviously it also has the option for the, like, dynamic one. It will choose itself based on how many players there.
Yeah.
But yes, you also have the option to just casually make it easier for yourself by just going, oh, I've got a full team of 4, but we'll have enough zombies for, like, 1 group. Same as if you really want a challenge, obviously you could play it by yourself and then have, like, 4 times the zombies spawn.
Yeah. And if you want to make it an extra challenge, you can do that and put it on the Sniper Elite difficulty.
Yes. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not a masochist. So I don't think I would ever do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I think the only reason I would go on the Sniper Elite difficulty is for, of course, the trophy that's available for completing everything on Sniper Elite difficulty, but I think I would still reduce the amount of zombies. Just to at least give me that advantage.
Yep.
Of course, I'm not really one to necessarily shy away from a challenge. When it comes to games, considering I've beaten Dark Souls, for example, 3 times, platinumed it. A Soulsborne type game, Code Vein, platinum that one as well. And I will be working on Demon's Souls remaster at some point soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am okay with that kind of stuff. I know you don't really want to be playing those kinds of games because there's a lot more frustration with those games.
I don't know, it's more time consuming to not actually get any progress. Like, I have played games similar to the Soulsborne games, but I have not finished one because I just do a few bosses and I'm just like, I really cannot be bothered. I do not, to obviously you've got to learn how each boss works and crap, which is similar to, I mean, I've played a lot of MMOs. You have to learn to do what each boss does. So it's not, I'm like, I have to always play on easy mode. I don't. But when it's a case of, I have this limited amount of time to play the game, I don't want to be just smacking my head against the wall over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. There's certainly times where I was playing Dark Souls where I felt like I was banging my head against a wall, but eventually I did overcome the boss, of course, and ended up beating the game. It was certainly easier going through it the second and third time, because I knew exactly what to do. And of course I was stronger than the first time I went through.
Yeah.
Although technically they were stronger too, but not as strong as me, quite clearly.
Yeah, I don't generally do the New Game Plus thing. Normally, like, after I finish the game, I have finished that game. I don't like when there's like, if I want the trophies and stuff, when it's like, oh, complete this on like multiple different difficulties. So, okay, if I want to, I play it on the highest difficulty, but then you don't know the game. So you've got to play it on an easier difficulty, so then you learn the mechanics before you then play it on a harder one, which sometimes adds more mechanics to learn. But you have a general feel for how the game works. Like, not too long ago, I beat Resident Evil Village, but there are multiple trophies that you couldn't realistically do in one playthrough. In that, obviously, you've got to complete the game within 3 hours, which is doable if you don't play it on like the highest difficulty.
Which of course is another trophy.
Yeah. Then there's also obviously other ones that wouldn't really work with the highest difficulty one. Is to limit your limit spending on your weapons. So don't upgrade your guns, guys. But then that's not a problem if you're going to do the run where you're only allowed to use your knife.
Yeah, but then of course there's trophies for fully upgrading all the weapons.
Yeah.
It requires a couple runs anyway.
Probably say more than a couple runs. Unless you obviously on your first run you want to do the challenge. You want to challenge yourself by doing the like knife run. Don't really use your health items or don't spend money. If you want to do all these extra crap.
I think for a basic platinum trophy thing, it would be 3 separate runs, because you got the basic one when you're learning the mechanics of the game and everything, and you buy most of the upgrades for the weapons. And then you've got your second run, which is typically a knife speed run. And then the third one is the Village of Shadows difficulty run.
Yeah. I mean, you might even need a fourth one, because if you want to upgrade all your weapons, you can't get enough money to necessarily do that within. You might struggle to do that within 3 runs. The second one, obviously, you're saving all that money because you're just using your knife, which cannot be upgraded. So,
but you can buy a better knife in the store before you actually play the game.
You can if you have already beat the game. If it's your first run, no.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that's why the knife speedrun tends to be the second speedrun or the second playthrough.
But then that knife is not like loads more powerful than the basic one you get. The basic one, it takes a few slashes to kill something. Then the next one, it took me like 2 slashes to kill this thing, or it took me 3 slashes to kill this thing.
Yeah, and of course there is also the lightsaber type weapon if you want to get a double S rank on all the levels in the mercenaries to unlock that.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that what looks like the lightsaber? Is that like in the final section of the game, or near the final section, you have like a light thing you can use to pinpoint like airstrikes. Is that lightsaber thing you unlock? Is that? But
no.
For no, are you sure?
Yes, the lightsaber is literally just a melee weapon that you can smack people with. It just looks like very similar to a lightsaber. Whereas obviously the other thing is a marker for airstrikes.
Yeah.
Is there any games that are going to be released this year that you're looking forward to?
I don't know. I mean, there'll be the village DLCs. Obviously, there's DLCs for Valhalla, but I don't think there's any new games that I've. Oh, well, obviously, Dying Light 2 comes later this year.
That's December, yeah.
What else we got coming?
There's Far Cry 6. That's coming out.
Is that actually coming this year? Because
October.
Because I already pre-ordered that, and they gave me my money back for it.
Well, it's got a confirmed release date for October the 7th. There's also Deathloop that's coming out in September.
Mm-hmm.
There's the next Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes, that's coming out in October.
Yeah.
There's Battlefield 2042 coming out in October.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games in October.
Yeah. None of them horror, though.
Pardon?
None of them horror for the Halloween season.
Well, Dark Pictures anthology one's kind of horror. The House of Ashes.
I guess.
That's October 22nd. That one.
Yes. Also, speaking of things coming out, well, the newest patch for WoW has come out. Being World of Warcraft has recently released on the 30th of June. So I was playing some of that last night. It's alright.
What does it focus on this time?
You are now you're now actually going to take the fight to the jailer, who is the primary antagonist for the Shadowland expansion. But now you're building like a foothold in the moor, which is his domain, so that you can assault his fortress.
Okay, how far have you got into that so far?
Not very. I just did like the opening stuff. I've did the first quest line. I've got all my people are now in the moor, and I just wanted do these dailies for these people. So it's like, no, I'll go to bed. Screw doing dailies.
A lot of games these days seem to want to have daily challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Got to keep you playing somehow.
Yeah, but I'd rather just progress the story rather than you must complete this daily, and then obviously you've got to collect enough of this thing to be able to progress. It's like, just let me go. Just let me continue.
Yeah, but the longer they prolong your progression and make you do daily challenges and stuff, the longer you play the game.